before video came out, we are going to be able to do a new way with video to dive into getting our character sheets because Gompasta shared an amazing tutorial on the
Oh
Gnarly
yeah.
Studios server. So we'll be getting into that today. I also will be showing off the homework from last week, which is you can find it on the Gnarly Studios server. Thank you so much for linking that. Let's see here. Let me get rid of this little window here because I realize I got two of these open for some reason. Let's
Are
see.
you using the Fantasy Friday room?
No, I'm not using the Fantasy Friday room.
Okay.
We're just gonna have people share in VC text today because it's gonna be a lot of me diving into After Effects and stuff as well. So I think that this is fine. Um, so yeah, the homework was build a scene. A very simple task in the sense, but it has so much potential, obviously, because it's so open ended. So I'm very curious to see what scenes you guys built. Feel free to post
Well, there were
your
a few.
yeah, and if you did not post them on the Gnarly Studio server, feel free to share them on VC Text. You can just I believe you could just drop a video file into there, and we'll check them out. If not, we will see them on the Gnarly Studios server here in a minute. I'm so happy that that server is growing consistently now. We're almost at 2,200 members, which is just crazy to me. I'm so excited to see what 2,200 people could do at making videos and and whatever we want to do together. But I'm most excited about building the series together. We do have a fantasy series that you're welcome to hop into. So let me just show that really quick here. If you go by the Gnarly Studios server here, and there you go, you're going to see that we have all sorts of different channels for you. This is like basically like a focused group at trying to do all sorts of collaborative storytelling. So we have a character portal where you can submit original characters. This is where we'll be grabbing the characters for today. So if you do have any original characters that you have not submitted yet, feel free to. And if you, what is it? The main benefit of this is that you get to keep track of your character's activity across Midjourney. So if someone else uses your character, then we heavily recommend that they like post updates to your character portal entries. So it's like you get to see all sorts of evolution of your character over time. We also have a whip section, so like work in progress stuff. So if you want like advice while you're making something, you can just keep your own post updated there. It's an awesome forum. Um, and uh, and then lastly, we have the storybook nexus, which lets us dive into the like basically the lore of some of the stories that we are telling, particularly the Spellbroke fantasy series, and whatever else we get into later, we'll be posting into there. I did forget to mention that today we are joined by Rhapsody, uh, Kinky, and Ancient. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Howdy.
You want me to roll the intro?
Yeah, roll that intro.
Yeah, if you divert your attention to my screen, that's where I'm big on screen right now, then you should be able to see our intro for this week.
And a button. Love that, Raps. Thank you so much for putting that together. She's updating that every week, so
Oh,
like
good.
any new videos you guys are making, um, we'll be updating that intro. So awesome. And I definitely recognize a few people from that are sitting in the audience right now that are inside that video too. So we'll be including your all scenes I might need a, let's see if I can find a link. It's probably in the challenges, right? Yes. Make a scene. All right. Sweet. So this is how we do stuff here when it comes to like sharing content that we've made. We do these challenges here. If you click on that, you'll find make a scene. That is the last week's challenge here. So we're just going to dive into a couple year-old scenes first, and then what is it? And then I am going to play mine. I put together a 1 minute long animation for you guys. I haven't done any audio stuff to it yet, but I'll get into that later. Plenty of you guys have done audio already, which is awesome. But I kind of wanted to make sure I had plenty of stuff to show you guys After Effects wise and post effect wise, because there's just so much you can do now, thanks to Midjourney videos. So the first one here is Lolo Soon with the Doll Factory. I'm going to download it so that I can do a little screen share of it here, because I feel like that's going to be the best way for me to get audio to you guys today. So let me get this all queued up here. Okay. And now I am going to screen share. And all right, this one should work. All right, so first up is The Doll Factory by Lolo Soon. That is awesome. Oh yeah, we don't have audio. Okay, let me fix that up really quick. It's probably something on my end. Just a second here. Streaming, share streaming audio. My bad, my bad. All right. Well, the audio was nice, so I'm gonna play it one more time for Lolo. Okay. Let me just go ahead and hit play on that. I never get audio when people share videos or intro animations. All right, so let me try it one more time though. I was not expecting live action. Still nope. Okay, okay. But I was not expecting live action. This is awesome. This is one of those like pieces that like impresses the hell out of me, because like every character is different. Everything that's like happening in the scenes makes sense in a way that I feel like a lot of AI videos actually have trouble doing. So this is really really gorgeous stuff. Great job, Lolo. Awesome. Okay, sorry there's no audio, guys. Turn up streaming volume. Okay, let me figure it. See this here. Where streaming volume? Um, it's max. Just rejoined. Maybe it should work. Okay.
So if you right click on the video in the stage, there's a stream volume slider.
Okay.
So it's on the user end. I might have to turn it up.
Okay. Let's see here.
Hello?
Okay.
Oh, now you're hearing me.
Yeah. Now we're hearing you.
I was talking the whole time. Did anybody hear me?
No. No, we didn't hear you. Sorry.
Never.
No. Only after
Since
the
the
intro.
intro, probably.
Yeah. Since the intro.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see here. What did you think of Lolo's video?
I hear audio, so it's gorgeous. Like he did it very well, keeping the style consistent, which is for a lot of people very hard with AI video. And there is a connection between the cuts, which is nice, and the flow is nice. The timing of the cuts is pretty nice, is well made.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really get this eerie feeling. Like, I wouldn't say it's a Doll Factory without knowing the title. Like the title gives it a twist that's not inherent to the video itself,
Right.
but that's fine. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's building up to
Yeah.
to a reveal of some sort of robotics, duplication, cloning kind of thing. Multiples. Definitely digging the inspirations behind that too. All right, let's get to the next video. We have from Gom Pasta. Let's give this one a download. And I'm still streaming here. Okay. Ooh, I like that door close. Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah, the rumble.
That's awesome. Okay, all right.
That's really good.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. Initial thoughts. Initial thoughts right off of that.
So the starting is very, very strong. Like her walking down and then seamlessly closing the door. That's great. Then the transition to the running, so there is some buildup of speed and urgency. That she's so slow here in the beginning is a bit of a problem for me personally.
Right.
I would have liked her to be fast and stop, maybe like retime the bit a bit so that the first step or so is pretty fast and then it gets slower. That would have improved it.
Well, even if you would cut the first half of this, right, it would help that speed because
Yeah.
this is a big part of editing is that your every performance from an actor is actually quite different when it comes to like especially energetic shots like this. Half the time we just cut stuff out, like a lot of cutting room floor techniques that are done in order to kind of sell like for example, like you see how she throws her arm like this is a pretty fast motion that if you would take advantage of that where it's like just here but point and then we have everything we need to kind of sell that she ran into the cockpit, you know.
Yeah.
So that I love it though. Great work, Gom Pasta. Very curious what she says here. I was really impressed with the screen here actually.
Oh yeah.
The what is it? The just this nice scroll of the uh of the effect, the overlay here is just really clean, really clean. Was this fully generated by the way? Like did you do anything to tweak the text on the screen here? All generated. Oh wow. Okay. That is sick. Yeah, and I do love the angles. I do love the angles a lot. It was even V7. Yeah. V7's a bit notorious for kind of rewinding on the gurgly gobbly text. But it is something that I kind of get it. Like it's one of those things that doesn't really bother me very much. I will say we had a new member join. I don't remember their name. I'm so sorry. But they're from like was Indonesia or I forgot what country they're exactly from. I thought their comics were all gobbledygook text at first, I'll be honest. And then they were like, no, it's in a foreign language. I'm like, how am I supposed to know? But no. After I ran a image translate on it, it made sense. So I was like, oh, okay. But no, that is kind of funny. It is a bit of a funny situation we have with text right now. But no, that is sick though. You can go back to 6.1. Yeah, I'd like to do text a bit more reliably with the editor. So I haven't really had any problems with it. It still prompts speech bubbles and things fine. It's just I use version 6.1 in order to put text there. All right.
I just mind just being it in Photoshop. But
Yeah. I mean,
I want my speech bubble in the right position. Then I want to paint over the crap that's in it and just write my own text in there.
Now, I will say I've done a couple of video demos, right, of like in painting and all that kind of stuff for like more traditional artists and stuff. When I in paint a speech bubble, it pisses them off. Because they're like, it's a circle with a line and some text on it. It's easier and faster to just do it in Photoshop. And I'm like, yes, I agree with you, but look at what it can do. And it's just like, it makes them go a little nuts. It's hilarious. But
I mean, your use of generative replacement in Photoshop even drives me crazy. But
yeah. I do it in a way that's very compute heavy. That is very true. Also, very hard drive busy, or it fills up hard drives very quickly. The Working for the Weekend series from the Sage Comics was a total of 49 gigs total. Which is like less than 50 panels of comics. Was so you're talking about nearly a gig per panel. So yeah, very inefficient way of doing things, but I really enjoy in painting. It's just it gives me a million options of what I could do with stuff. So smart objects all the way down. Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right. So let's do the next video here. We have Tanner. All right, gonna give this a download. And am I not screen sharing anymore? Okay, let me.
You
fix
are.
it. Oh, I am. Okay, good.
Yes.
I'm just not used to the your stream is still running window. Okay, and opening. Well, that's very cute, Tanner. The what is it? I do love this character a lot. I think that there's a lot of potential here. My main critique is mostly just like I want to understand like what her motivations were of like going through this forest, handling this flower. I remember the blooper that was posted of this of the flower like dancing away, which I thought was really cute. But I
Flower is even a character in the character portal.
That's right. That's right. You guys added that. I remember that now. But it is. I've purposely not looked at these videos because I want to kind of get my raw reaction to things, right? And my kind of 2 cents on this is I can tell she's kind of like yawning and stretching here, right? The last 2 or 3 frames are the only things that I think kind of break that sort of feeling of her waking up, right? Because it's like it almost feels like she's doing like a Dragon Ball Z pose right here. But yeah, it is very cute. I would have liked to have seen a shot of her actually getting up from the flowers, to start the walk here, because I feel like you don't have to explain everything in your videos, right? But it is very helpful to know like and this also is true for Jolodak's comic that he posted in his whips, is that whenever we are showing like something to the audience, it's we're giving it like a purpose, like there's a reason why we want to emphasize that moment. And the reason I want to emphasize the moment of her getting up here is really to do an establishing of the world. I saw a lot of her, right? I would love to see where she is not the subject focus, but the world is the subject focus, which I think her getting up, for example, like if this was a behind of her head and then we saw the world around her as the emphasis, it would be a really good transition into this shot afterward.
Yeah, Tanner wrote himself that he's not very happy with the result. And I can tell why, because there is just connections between the individual shots missing, like that would let it flow better and explain a bit more. So yeah, this would have done with like shorter cuts and more individual shots instead. That would have improved it.
Yeah, and and I'm gonna say this now, guys. Feel free to just like submit the same video but with different edits and stuff, but we can give you like advice along the way or during the actual streams too. So like if Tanner, like if you wanted to keep working on this, and I totally understand just working on something else too because you feel like it, but if you did want to keep working on this, I highly encourage just like resubmitting, right? And then you can keep adding if you wanted to. But let's see here. I'm gonna hop ourselves back over to VC Text really quick here. Everything is beautiful, right? Yeah, and we'll be getting into some color correction as well, Golden Pasta, today. There's a lot that I did in my video that we'll be diving into. It's a lot of masking and color correction and how to use aesthetic plates as a way to determine your colors for shots that don't line up. I'll show you. I'll be digging into all that here soon. But let's get to the next video. We have Legal Beagle. All right. And Legal Beagle is not here today. He is busy with family today. So we are going to be... he'll be checking out the recording here later to get to hear our input on this. So let's watch it.
We're going to be talking behind his back.
Right. Oh, let me rewind this. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Now, I wiggly 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 wiggly. Like that's what. Whenever I hear that sort of like '80s sort of hair metal, I go wiggly 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 wiggly, because my dad would always do that. My dad was a big hair metal fan, so whenever there would be like a moment, he would hit pause on the music so that everything would go quiet and just go wiggly 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 wiggly, and then hit play again. Immediately. Especially whenever it was like Twisted Sister or something like that. Let's see here. Yeah, so but my input on this for Legal Beagle is mostly just like I get the intention that it's like, a training montage and stuff. Montages usually have much faster cuts. They would be kind of like if you're gonna hold on a shot, it's because something went wrong in the training. For example, like if she was picking herself up and then she fell on her face for a moment, that would be a good reason to hold on this shot a little longer. But I could definitely see a couple some of my favorite montages are comedies, right? Because they're kind of playing up the idea of a montage as opposed to necessarily just a straight montage. So maybe that's also my lean on this, is that I kind of would like a little more, either a little more humor or a little more action, or both would definitely work for this.
What I loved is the timing on her putting her head above the bar with the music in the beginning. I think that was really nice. But yes, this video also could use a lot more individual shots and shorter cuts. That would basically make it just faster and more fitting to the music and the theme.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I cut to music all the time, though. I cut to music all the time. I'll get a loose cut, and then I'll throw the music in there, and everything changes.
Yeah, but in these three, the colors stay the same, and you can really feel that it's the same environment, which is good. Like there's not much color correction needed. Like the second one is maybe a little bit brighter than the other two, but.
I mean, it's clearly the same environment, though. Same style reference being used. Yeah, it's very good in that regard. Yeah. I know Legal Beagle can knock it out of the park to do consistency.
Homework was at least 3 scenes.
At least 3 shots within a scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is great. Definitely accomplished the homework. Good. All right, let's see who's next. And then, so I reworked the timing a little bit. Oh, okay. So Lolo actually did another submission here. Let's take a look at his now. This is another one from Lolo. We're going straight down the list, guys. This one is a demon teacher. That's nice. I already have a little spoiler here. So let's see what this is.
In the halls of this school, I walk with pride, a demon on the inside, but I seem benign, teaching all these kiddos under watchful eyes. But in the shadows, the war in hell it lies. Lore of ancient battles whispers in the air. My heart longs for freedom beneath my calm stare. Bright lights will guide me, I'm ready to ignite, fighting for my demons in this endless night. In my classroom of dreams, I weave tales of might, a warrior in disguise, though I hide from the fight. Echoes of my kin calling out from deep. In the war-torn abyss, their promise I keep.
I don't know if you guys can hear the audio. But I definitely want to do a shout out for the audio on this one, because it's definitely for doing complete like vocal lyrics and stuff like that. That's awesome. That's awesome that you got this all in there.
I want that for my comic. I want her to be my character's teacher.
I love this transition, by the way.
Yes, I love the drawn portal that shows up and whatnot to kind of like get you into the world and whatnot. Now I do think that it can be tightened up a lot, but it like all the beats or all the like concepts are there, you know.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a problem with the starting one, like the waving of the pen without actually like either touching the board or I I can't imagine her also just waving it like a wand, but for me personally, it seems too repetitive, and too long. So, like, I don't know. I would have maybe cut it there a bit to maybe remove the switch to the left side with the pen.
I love this though.
And
I
just
love
have
I love this.
yeah,
effect.
this is amazing. And the transition of the demons flying in here to the board
Mhm.
and revealing that they are somewhat flying in this new world, in this demon world, in hell or wherever this is. That's great.
Right. Now, I do need to comment on the pen too. This is a very common problem with AI stuff in general, is the fact that if something is hidden, it'll oftentimes have to hallucinate what's there, right? So like if you see her at the beginning here, like I don't know what your starting frame was on this. If you started with this very first one here, I think you did. I would have immediately inpainted the pen to be have a blunt end to it. So like if I pause it here, it has two pointy bits, which definitely is like something that I feel like would just kind of confuse the video generation of this. You might have gotten more interesting results by inpainting the pen to have like a rubber end or otherwise a cap at the back end of the eraser. There is also a logic issue with this, which is she's on a white she's not using a whiteboard. The green in the back would be for chalk, right? So in terms of this, I would have definitely just if you not to worry about the background at all, I would have replaced the pen with a strip of chalk, and then this would have helped a bit more for that. Otherwise, like some of the notes that Rhapsody had about the repetition right here, if you would have just done one pop or one bloom of this instead of it repeating, I think that would have basically have sold the same thing without the time. It's almost always better to crunch as much as you can to make it so that there's whatever was your visual concept you're going for, just get it done in one pass, and then if you feel like it needs it beat wise, then you add more. But I understand that you were probably working with the music here as you were putting this together. So like in terms of like this, for example, like the swiping and the explosion that's here, there's a bit of a beat in between these that I think could be cut out, like right here, like where they go down a bit, and then just have this all sped up inside of the timing. So we can get into some of that with today's class in terms of retiming stuff.
Yeah, you should have edited it. Yeah, also, like, sparing the time at the beginning maybe gives you the feeling that you need to film more at the end, but that would have been actually beneficial to your piece here. Like, having more time to show the battlefield maybe from different perspectives and actually build up the scene where she's standing in front of the whole army and then performing the spell and ending on an explosion would have been probably better than staying with like the full length clips and just going for it.
Yeah. I do want to make a comment on something Ancient linked here. He's like, yeah, double-ended pens definitely don't exist. The thing is that a lot of things actually like exist but are confusing for the audiences because of their expectations, right? Like for example, there are people with 6 fingers that exist too. But if all of your characters feature 6 fingers, you're going to have to eventually explain why narratively, or just as
all of your characters feature 6 fingers. That's lore.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can
Is it the Simpsons that only have 4?
4. Yeah, that's it. In fact,
Yeah.
if you guys want a little Easter egg for my comics, if you see a fully drawn comic from me, with exception to the Santa Claus comic that I did, because it was a group collab, if the characters have 4 fingers, that means I fully drew the comic. You'll see that with the Bay Rate comic. They're all 4 fingers. Because I used to draw Simpsons fan art when I was like 8 or 9 years old. It's all like I was like, I'm gonna 100% make sure that Bay has 4 fingers for this one. So It's just a little bit easier for me to get like fun graspy poses with 4 fingers rather than 5. I always feel like the pinky gets kind of in the way of like whatever I'm doing, but that's also just because I'm kind of adult when it comes to human anatomy, drawing of hands particularly. So I've gotten a lot better about it ever since doing AI. I'll be it's one of the weird things that I got much better at drawing is not just 5 fingers, but also things like collarbones. I never paid attention to things like collarbones or Adam's apples. Whenever I was drawing, because my comics were always these kind of Jonan Vasquez inspired, like slinky, like lanky Nightmare for Christmas characters. So I never really cared about. Whenever I drew a neck, I just threw 2 lines underneath the head and then moved on. But now I'm focused so much more on like the way the neck twists and bends with the muscle and every. Yeah, it's and that I attribute that 100% to my work with AI, honestly. But okay, let's check out the next video here. Okay. Let's see here. We have from Bert Nar TV. I did see this one. I just want to say really quick, you guys are gonna get huge bonus points from me if you include special effects like VHS and all that kind of stuff, like any sort of like artifacts and stuff in your videos, because it really does make some really cool stuff with Midjourney. Let me before I play it here, I just need to close the door here for my dog. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. All right. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and download this guy.
Did you let the dogs out?
I did the opposite. I let them in. Let's see here, because I don't want you guys hearing a bunch of scratchy dog noises at the door. Now he's sitting down in his big comfy chair. There he goes. Okay. All right. Dogs are good. All right. Video time. We have Bert's video here. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Hey, whatever happened to that guy making these comics?
I don't know, beats me.
Yeah, maybe he's doing something better with his life.
Somehow, I doubt that.
Okay.
Oh, it's repeating. I
Yeah.
didn't notice that it's infinitely repeating.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm especially
Yeah.
a big fan of the dubbing, man. You did a really this is the first one that's been dubbed with the video series here, and that's really, really cool. I want to know more about like how you made this, particularly the dub inside of stuff. If it's just kind of like, ad-libbed with speaking prompts, or what you did here. I'm just curious. I'll open up video here. My own critiques. I actually don't like the voices. I'd rather record it myself next time. CapCut voices. Oh, CapCut. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't. I have downloaded CapCut. I have played with it a couple of times, but its interface is completely alien to me.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by CapCut's definitions of things. I won't get into details there because I know that I'll screw up saying something, but definitely like its understanding of particularly effects kind of confuses me. I don't actually mind the voices that much. I usually do. AI voices usually bother the crap out of me. But this I didn't mind as much. I would say only the last line from the lanky character is a little off, but everything else is good. I mostly my only real critique for you, man, is like, hey man, I'm still making comics. It takes me a long time, okay? And I'm going as fast as I can. I'm excited to see what the reaction of the next one's going to be. Just because it's a 2-parter and it's gonna go bonkers, but I won't get into spoilers. But yes. The comics thing was about the
Wasn't
Nar
about
Nar Nar
you.
comics.
Yeah.
Got it. About your comics. Got it. Good. I only have to clarify just because of the we're all gnarly here, right? So I gotta ask. Let's see. That's the first and only entry with spoken text. That's great.
Yeah. My critique here is that you also could have cut the audio to match it a little bit, like the voices, to match a little bit more with like the lips moving. There is a yeah, they are not in sync basically, and it would have been easy to just also cut the audio in basically any video editor. You can just make cuts to the audio track too, and just rearrange it a bit. And that would have probably helped. I don't know if you generated the voices together with the video, with the music though. So if that's one thing, then it would not have worked. And the second take of C, I don't know the name of this character. They're saying something, but his mouth is not moving. So you're facing an opposite problem of what people usually experience with AI animation stuff. Here, usually characters talk too much, and that would be worth probably a whole stream to just fix mouth movements that are
Excessive.
like too much mouth
Right.
movement. Yeah, right. And just pause in the right second and let them open it again in the correct second. In that situation, there would have actually been good, like, to have his mouth moving,
Right,
but
right. And I totally understand that's outside your
Yeah.
skill sets for now, Bert. It won't be.
Yeah.
It won't be eventually, I promise.
Lardio, yeah, and
Yeah,
Lardio,
cardio and
yeah.
lardio. That's I do like the names too. But no, it is true though that whenever it comes to lip syncing, whenever I do have the audio ahead of time and I'm just trying to get the last like couple words to be lined up with the mouth, I will retime specific parts of footage, which you guys are going to see me do later when I break down my video. But it is interesting that you can do that with just any of the mouth sync movements, because a lot of times especially with the Midjourney video, it has this sort of puppeting effect where you can hold frame and the color correction doesn't change, and you can easily, or like you do not need to color correct heavily just to get everything lined up and clean. So yeah, no, this is great though. Great job, Bert. All right, let's see who's next. All right, we got Zero. We got Zero next. A 3, 2, 1, go. I love this ending shot so much. Okay. This is really good, Zero. I really dig it. The sound effects are very like they fit really well. In terms of like the each footstep has the appropriate sound when the foot goes down. I do think, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, but is the audio from the footsteps like a sound effect file, or is it something from an AI video thing? I'm just curious in terms of how you laid that audio into there. Let's see here, and
Zero here.
yeah, I don't think she's here. That's fine. So like when it comes to like what I'm kind of expecting here is that this is AI video or AI audio that has been played, to get this effect. I don't know if she's exclusively holding on to Midjourney or anything like that, or maybe she's using VO3 or any of the other services that are out there, which is fine. If you guys want to explore, feel free to explore. But here's what I'll say about this. I really like the pacing the most out of this. I feel like it really nails that. But when we start to get to this moment right here with the walking in front, that's where I'm like, my instinct was to go, oh, this is her POV when she sees Athena here, the Fox character here. I was expecting I was expecting to basically, this is her POV and have her not be standing right behind the character. And the reason why is because of the rule of the 180 degree rule here, where when she's looking down this alley here, I'm going to pause it for a moment. When she is looking down this alley right here, I'm not expecting the next cut to be of her looking. I expect the cut to be of this moment without her in the scene. So like we're kind of seeing this person walking in front of our vision for just a moment. And then when we cut back to this shot, that's what I would have done is then had that character walking, you know, in front of her and then towards camera instead of going to this close-up here. Essentially, this close-up kind of breaks the pacing for me. And we would be able to then cut to a close-up or cut to this shot. So basically, take out the close-ups and focus on this like moment of recognition, and then everything moving forward. I love the bakery shot, especially. I could tell why this was such a focus at the end. There was this awesome vertical rising crane shot here. You guys are going to be using a lot of like filmmaking terminology moving forward with this stuff, and this would be a rising crane shot, you know, with a low angle pitch at the end. So if you use words like that, you're more likely to get a result that moves like this. You could say revealing the sign of the bakery kind of stuff. I definitely use reveal a lot in order to pull objects into the video frames that are not in the original starting frame. But all right, so I do dig this. I'm going to play in the background just one more time. I love the setup. I love that it's like acknowledging here's the city, they went here, but this also has a style jump right here. The color tone is
And another one here.
Yeah. There's a couple different tonal changes that happen here where this shot right here works better with the opening shot as opposed to you know, like basically what I'm seeing here is we're shifting between green and teal a lot. Especially this one. This one is very, very teal. So maybe this clip would be a good one that I could show you guys color correction. You know, so we'll save that in the back burner for now.
Yeah. It's also not just color correction there. It's also a completely change in the drawing style of the background, which is what's disturbing me the most with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I don't mind if colors change a bit out in nature. That can happen if a cloud just comes over you. But if the drawing style within a video suddenly changes, it feels like it's mixed together from different sources.
It's
and
yeah, it's far
that's-
more like collage at that point, as opposed to feeling like you're editing a consecutive scene. Yeah, I agree with you, Raps. I agree that I guess we can call it the rendering of it is a little off between shot to shot. It could also just be that at the end of the day, you know, just kind of trying to nail the color palette will get you halfway there, if not but more. But eventually you're gonna find that stopgap of like, oh, if I would just re-render this entire thing with the same style reference, then this is not going to happen nearly as much, or at least weight it up a little bit to make the style reference consistent across each shot. Okay, cool. And also, of course, fun cameos of Roxy and Yona here.
Yeah,
That's always
that
fun.
one I love, of course.
It's very chibi Roxy, but it is very cute.
True.
Okay. All right, let's get the next clip here. Okay, that's it. Awesome, guys. So that was the scenes. Thank you so much to Zero, Lolo, Bert, Legal Beagle, Tanner, and Gom Pasta for submitting your scenes for homework. And I expect more scenes to be submitted. It is such an open-ended thing. I really want you guys to keep contributing to this challenge particularly. So we'll see how far we get today in determining
We should
any
just
new ones.
Yeah, we should just continue this. Like, this challenge for the next week again. Like, doing the same thing again, maybe with different characters, different scenes, and just trying to improve because
Yeah.
this is basically how you do it. And we're
I,
happy to give any feedback anytime in stream at the end or in between. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Especially on the
yeah.
Gnarly Studio server, just hop on in and you can always get advice from us whenever you want. It is certainly true as well that I will be trying to keep up with your all's progress too. I want to make sure that we get some. It's not like a random thing every week. I want to be able to have some consistency in that regard. So definitely don't feel bad about submitting a re-edit, for example. Okay. All right. So I'm going to play mine next. Mine is going to be the longest out of everything from you guys just so far. It is an entire minute. It has basically I wasn't 100% sure what the dialogue was going to be in the scene yet, and I have no audio for it. Mostly because I threw audio in there, and then I realized I probably shouldn't have copyrighted music in it. So I'm like, nope. I pulled it out yesterday, but I am going to make an original audio track for it after I have the dialogue finished. But for now, the dialogue is just wingding subtext subtitles. So let's see here. Let me get this loaded up. Let's see. There it is. All right, it's called Kingdom Come. Yes, I added a joke at the end there. Okay.
You couldn't help yourself.
I couldn't help myself but do some sort of shit post at the end there. Yes. But I really thank you, Troll for you. So let me just explain something about this video really quick here. I have used the prompt "Heavy fog, tide is out" since my start. It is one of my favorite prompts because it just sets this somber, eerie tone visually, and this video largely used the same style reference throughout. But the camera movements, yeah, like what Lolo is pointing out here, they are me basically redirecting moments that I found that I think a lot of people may see them as errors or edits, or sorry, just errors or problems. And I was like, no, 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 these are moments for me to manipulate and change the image here. So, for example, here, there's a moment where when at least he comes up and he picks up the stick here, you can see that little glitch that I added there. I did that specifically because his wrist is actually breaking in that moment, and every time the video glitches out here, there's a continuity issue. There's something that changes in the video that I wanted to give a like a narrative reason why that happens. So I'm like every one of those is an updated prompt. I'm like there's actually two stories happening at the same time, which is the one you're watching, and then the one of the video being manipulated as you're watching it. So it's definitely having some fun with that idea with this, that that there is an element of world building that's happening right in front of you with the castle coming up here out of the marshy fog area here. But it is something that I actually did a lot of compositing to get to this stage right here. The castle, you'll notice, is in the background where his feet walk in the water. That's not actually in the clip. That was done with a blending mode. And I'll be getting into all those nitty gritty details here because I want you guys to see everything it took to make this. Yeah. What do you think, Rhapsody?
I think it's pretty good. The only thing that bothers me with it is the heavy change of the character. Like there's a lot of details about the character changing.
Yeah.
In every single shot, and also style-wise, I mean, the style can be explained by the two stories thing, which is fine. I love these dirt walking shots, by the way. They look really amazing. I think that's the right level of detail for this thing. The one shot with the church or castle or whatever it is rising up is really cool, and then it disappears, but you only see it in the water. So there's a lot of artistic note in that you really can feel. But I would have, I personally, I would have looked for more character consistency in the starting keyframes from the beginning.
Right.
I mean, that can be a time constraint, which is totally understandable. And yeah, but
yeah, I mean, I fully,
great.
Well, I fully agree that he goes from a wide jaw. Like if you look here, he has a bit of a wide jaw at this shot here. But then as soon as we start the spin, that jaw goes away completely. It becomes the more like the standard AI problem of the characters get more handsome. And it basically like it was harder to get the certain consistency that I was aiming for. But if you notice here at the start, this was referencing the very opening of this shot right here. And that's the only time he has that square jaw. And what I tried to do in post was actually change the face shape, but it was just not lining up for me. I just ran out of time to get that.
The face shape itself isn't really what's bothering me. What's bothering me more is the drawing style of the eye that is changing.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah.
So like, here you have like really white. I don't know the English word for the area around the iris. White eyes basically, and then you have a shot where you almost have no eye whites here, and your pupils are just like black dots.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the switch where the character turns around and suddenly has a cape, which is fine. Getting that cape in that moment feels really, really good. But then again later, we don't see it anymore until the end.
Right.
And that's weird.
And I will say that as I was digging through this, I will show you guys here on some of my video renders here on the other screen. You guys can actually see that I also got irritated by the lack of, the repetition of the cape getting generated and disappearing and then coming back up again. And I was trying to get around that with basically a different approach to the camera, but his outfit will change dramatically because of this starting frame. This starting frame is actually really bad for continuity because there's no continuity of what the outfit should look like. So every time I rendered this, he was wearing a different top on this. This almost looks like Tuxedo Man, almost like it has a very military-esque as a combination with that too. I don't know, like this is definitely not the outfit that he's wearing through most of this video. So, but I do like the approach.
There's a way to get around this.
Yeah.
There is a way to get around this problem, and that is with Midjourney's amazing extensions, because you can easily start with the character facing the camera and all the information about his character design being there, and then prompt that he's turning around, and that that part is basically then only made to be cut away, and it becomes your new start for the
Oh, that's
for the whole
fascinating.
shot.
Yeah,
And then you're just
I never
turning
really
him
tried
in the
that.
next extension. In the next extension, you're just turning him around again, and
Mhm.
suddenly you have all the referencing from the original start frame in your video prompting, and his outfit will stay continuous.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I definitely was very in the mindset of let me create the starting frame as what I need the shot to start with, right? So that's going to take a
Yeah.
whole new way of thinking for me, and it's good because it is something that I'll definitely be tackling moving forward. Because that was definitely one thing when I was doing this process of where I would get to a point in the clip that I like, and then I would say, okay, let's stop at this frame, specific frame, and then I'll use that as the starting frame for another video render, which is what happened
I'm
with
gonna
this one here. Yeah.
I'm gonna post two things I have shown. The first one all the time, and that's where I actually learned this technique while prompting for this animation of her casting like the fire spell. Because in all the extensions, it's zooming very, very far out, and you're not able to see her outfit anymore. I don't think people can see it on your screen right now. But then it's coming back, and all of her outfit is still in there because it's referenced by the starting frame. And that's how I learned that this is a thing that you can do. And it's really fun because if you have enough information in the starting frame, Midjourney is able of doing amazing things. And this is a new one that I did this week, which is her turning around basically 5 times, and the character still stays consistent.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, I really didn't dabble into that much, just because like I was so specific on trying to nail a
Yeah,
certain, a certain sort of beat to the performance of
yeah.
things. That yeah, no, I that's a great technique though. I'll definitely be doing that
And
more moving
let me
forward.
show another thing, the
Yeah.
final extension of the last one. Just copy. Like here's an extension of Shizune, which is the name of the ninja girl here, which I extended heavily to. I'll do more and get like character movements and stuff, and you can see even up to the point where she's jumping up into the sky, her outfit just stays consistent, and even though in most of the shots previously it's not visible, and that's because all the information is in the starting frame.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'll definitely be leaning on the idea of like having a base, like almost like a reference frame at the start, and then I know where my shot's going to go for the first extension. And I'm curious to test what the limits of that are. Don't see any jump seams to the extension in that. It's impressive. Yeah. The in terms of at least in my video as well, I specifically cut out any moments that were too jumpy for me, particularly when we switch between the starting frame and the start of the video. Midjourney is extremely good at not having that be too disruptive. Plenty of other video services literally has just whatever image you uploaded as the starting frame, and then it just clicks. So I almost always delete the first frame in most of these AI video things anyway. But it is impressive. Great. I do dig these a lot, Raps. Okay, let's see. And then Lola was dabbling with some action here as well. Nice. Yeah, and like I can tell like when it comes to like the parkour, particularly like the jumping of on certain objects, will definitely run into he's just floating away. Um, like it feels like I would say like every third step feels a little off in terms of like where the placement of it is, but I can't tell exactly what would be the fix for that beyond just keep on re-rolling. It's definitely a hard one to nail because that almost looks like video game footage. But let's see. Yep, it's 3D red with no gravity engine. There you go. Okay. So I do want to kind of break down at least some of like the core steps that I did to make this video, because there is a handful of things that you guys need to see with this, and I'm actually going to try to set this up so that we have both the text and and After Effects on the same screen here. So let me quickly set that up for you guys here. New capture window source, and we will do new one, AE, okay, and there we go. Okay, done. All
Are you
right.
doing the video?
Huh?
Oh yeah.
You're good. You're good.
I'm just placing myself.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna crunch this down so that you guys can see it easily with the text here still up. Okay, almost ready.
Don't want to hide Kinky.
Yeah, let's see here. Okay, and kinkity kink. Boom. I'm just gonna put it right there, and I'll get the After Effects video on the bottom here real quick. Alrighty. Okay. So, and I'll move myself just a little bit. There you go. Okay. So, when it comes to this After Effects project here, oh wait, that's right. You guys need to see it with the damn window. Hold on a second. Sorry,
Yes.
you guys can't see it without me actually doing a full window capture. So let me do that really quick. Screen capture, display capture. That's what I'm looking for. There it is. Tablet. Okay. And then I'll crunch it down inside of here so that we can at least be able to see text chat while this is going on. Because After Effects has a timeline on the bottom and stuff, it really, really wants me to... Oh, okay, I see what's going on here. No big deal. Just a second. And... Come on, little by little, window. This window is gonna be a reasonable size eventually. No, don't do that.
Just pin it to the left half of the screen, and then you can
Well, it wants to
resize it.
It has to do with my monitors being awful aspect ratio difference. Okay, and then I'll crunch this down. There we go. That works. That works good enough. Get this out of the way. Okay. Got it. And all right, now we're ready. Sorry about that, guys. Technical issues. All right. So, when it came to putting this all together, there is two main timelines that I have put together. I have the main timeline, and then I have a square frame timeline because I wanted to add the subtitles afterward so that they're not like, permanent parts of the video. I can just manipulate that later. So what I'm doing here is I'm crunching down all of my effects layers and things like that so that it's a little more obvious just how many layers are inside of this project. But you can see I have all the text there, and then I have the main edits. And if I now scroll over to the right here, okay, this is going to make it a little more annoying that this is going to want to not be here. Let me move this somehow. Come on. Ugh. This is annoying because I need to be able to move to the right here, and it's going to make me scroll this out to do it. Yeah, okay. There. That's what I want. Get this all down. There we go. Toggles. And nope, not that. Okay, I guess that's the most it's going to let me. Okay. So, the main thing that that we're doing here is that I have re-edited my main sequence, and that re-edit is just doing like final timing tweaks, really. Like for example, like right here when I'm doing the little like effects of doing the stick waving and stuff like that. I just did a cut in the video, and then applied those effects onto those edits. So you can see here that these two cuts that are here, they have the visual effects on these two cuts only. Otherwise the clip is as is. So I'm basically using one timeline just to take whatever I finished making and add that little extra oomph as well as the text around it. So that's one sequence here. The second sequence is where most of the work was done, which is if I now pull this out here, yeah, like that, you could see that it is a 16:9 frame while the other one was square. But on this 16:9, we have, how many layers did I do? I did 192 layers. To
I
make
was about to say 69, but that would have been an understatement. Wow.
Yeah. And the reason why these layers add up really quickly is because of the way that I'm doing cleanup or visual effects cleanup here. So if I now slide through this sequence here, you're going to see that there is one clip that has tons and tons of single frame edits. So if we zoom in here and I kind of bring ourselves to the right here a bit, yeah, here. And I gotta crunch this down a little bit this way so you guys can see. Yeah, okay. So the thing about this is that there are tons of single frame edits here, and it's because the original clip that this footage is from actually looks like this. Oops. Let me just get the raw one down here. There we go. So the original clip actually had this particle effect, these sort of like flying sparks of light. As I play here, you're going to see these white streaks that are all over the video, and it's very random. It feels like kind of like a very slow version of Warp Speed. Like it's just something that feels like it was applied to the video afterward, and it just doesn't look very good in my opinion. I didn't like it. So what I did is I did some masking to fix those issues. If we now zoom in on any one of these edits here, you're going to see a frame by frame. Every one of these is, I'll hop ourselves back to the main composition here. You're going to see that every one of these edits is actually a masked block. So if I go to the next frame, that masked block is moving. So we go from 1 to 2 to 3, and you can see that what I'm doing is I'm tracking the streak of light there. So if I turn off these 3 layers, so you guys can see this, boop, 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 boop. If I turn them off, look what's there. There's the streak of light. And so what I did was I basically boxed in wherever that light was, and then I borrowed the previous or the next frame of the footage, and I just shifted it over by one frame. Oops, I'm kind of cut off here. Hold on. Let me see, so you guys can see this a bit better. There we go. It's screwed up on me again. Okay, hold on a second. There we go. A little more. There we go. Okay. So what I did here was I took the neighboring frames and I used them as basically as patches to patch up and fix up the little bits of the video here. So it might feel like it's a bit tedious, but man, does that sell that shot. There's no distractions. It's just what I intended, which is the building coming up in the background, and you can notice it's just the stomp and then building rise. So by the time I'm going through all of this, that's where almost all these layers are. Is just me removing these little streaks of light. So like if I go to any frame here and then click here, boom. Another one would be right here. So if I now mute this, you can see there's a streak of light there. Okay, so I've explained that. At least for visualizing this, just what's inside of this mask is 1 or 2 frames behind or in front of wherever we are in the video. So getting used to retiming or working with basically multiple timelines in your head can be a little overwhelming at first, but it is a great way to add a whole other level to the videos that you make. So let me get this crunched down here. Okay. So another component of this.
I have a question about people who are watching. Please raise your hand in VC Text right now if you are using DaVinci Resolve to cut your videos. because there's an amazing tool in DaVinci, and I could also show you guys on some occasion how to do the same thing that Victor did here in DaVinci, because there is a tool that allows you to basically paint over your footage and tell DaVinci to use the footage from a frame before or after, just in that painted area.
Yeah,
which makes
that'd be
this
great if you want to do it.
super cool.
If you want to do that
Like,
demo,
if you-
feel free, Reps.
I mean,
it seems like there's
I mean,
interest.
just if you want to send me the original clip, I can just prepare it in the background and maybe show it later.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't want to rush you or nothing like that. No worries, no worries.
Yeah, no, do it. Just do it. I'm just gonna go prepare it in the background.
Yeah, let me go ahead and open up the original clip then. What's really neat about doing this, at least when it comes to like After Effects, because I am quite familiar with it. You just go to Reveal and then Reveal in Explorer in order to get the original clip. And then I just need to DM it to you. All right.
Yeah.
That easy. Just drag and drop. But it is something that I'm that at least when it comes to organizing AI videos, here's another neat thing. I don't actually edit the name of the videos, and the reason why I don't is because I'm very visual when it comes to navigating this stuff. So if I'm like, I want to work on this clip, I go to that clip on the timeline, and then I say, reveal to me where it is on my computer. But the main benefit that is for you guys is the fact that the entire prompt, or at least the file name that includes the prompt, is featured inside of these clips. So I can quickly refer to the original clip and get the entire prompt. Eventually, when I do finish this video, assuming that I do this one exactly, I'll probably do some consistency stuff based on the notes and stuff that I've gotten so far. But but when it comes to like the prompts that it used, I want to make a version of this video where you actually can watch the video prompts being made while this is happening. So like every time there's that glitch that happens that we change to a different clip, you can see this is one of the bloopers here is just Victor runs off and then runs back. There's all sorts of those little bloopers inside of these clips, but it mostly just comes down to being able to quickly refer to the prompts because they are inside of the file names. So when you guys get this, you guys will not only have the full project, but every one of the clips will be included too. So you'll be able to recreate this if you wanted to. The other aspect of this that I want to show is that because we did some static effects, we did some masking in order to clean up some of the framing here. But there's also one other little trick here, and I gotta pull this up here and drag this out all the way because it's now very much in the way to have all these long file names. Okay, cool. So another effect that I had done here was the color correction. So color correction was not that big of a deal because it's so gray toned in this, but there is color. There's plenty of orange from the explosions, and there's plenty of brown. And brown was by far the like the focal color with this. I wanted that sort of like rustic, everything is kind of desolate and a little bit copperish, burnt out sort of colors, right? So the thing about this is that when I'm transitioning from this shot to the cooking shot, which I absolutely love this cooking shot. I honestly put half of this video together just to have an excuse for this kick that's here. But you'll notice that it's a gray floor. It's a gray floor in the original clip. And I immediately recognized that continuity issue, let alone the fact that Victor actually is wearing completely long pants here. And then when we cut, he's wearing like you can see his socks, right? Basically like cutoffs. That is another continuity issue that I just willfully ignored because I was just like, you know what, whatever. But there is something missing from this shot that I have to add on top of color correction. There's an entire element that was missing in this shot, okay? and I'm just going to highlight it for you really quick. It's this. That stick is not actually in the original video edit. It is a post effect that I added, and I tracked it to the dirt. So the movement of that stick as he walks away from it, that is entirely post effects. It's basically a very simple effect that I did. I first took the stick from the previous panel, and then I applied a let's see here, because here's the original. I basically isolated it in Photoshop, and then let me just try to select it here. Okay, cool. So you'll see that I have two versions of the stick. I have the actual PNG of the stick itself that I traced with this to make a bit of a sharper outline there. But the main thing is that it has a reflection. So I duplicated it, I flipped the duplication, and then I ran it as an overlay blending mode. There's all these blending modes that, you know, or if you're familiar with Photoshop, you know what a blending mode is. It just basically lets only some of the pixels through to the final image, not all of them, which helps with blending things. And so I did an overlay, which basically looks at the darkest parts of your pixels or darkest parts of the image and just allows the light to shine through them. So it's very, very powerful for doing like these sort of faded blending modes. But oftentimes I just cycle through them. I just see which blending modes work the best for me. So you can see I could just kind of click through and experiment with different blending modes to see which one looks the most like it's kind of like a faded, you know, thing, but this almost looks like it's glowing, right? So now what happens when I switch it back to overlay? Boop. Look at that. We now have something that, if you compare the shoes, see how the shoes are a lighter color than the in the reflection than they are in the actual shoe. That's what I was aiming to recreate, was the balance of contrast between what is in the reflection and what is the actual stick. And then it was very easy for me to just say, hey, parent this stick to, or the reflection to the stick. So you can see here that if I zoom in just a little bit, there's this neat little dongle here that lets me like parent things to other layers. I just parented it to the, or just parented the reflection to the actual stick. So whenever the stick moves, the reflection moves. So you can see here, if I now move this stick would transform, the reflection's moving with it. Okay, and if we look at the actual timeline, you guys are going to be able to see it moving here. So let me go ahead and shift that over a little bit. Okay, and zoom in. Okay, so you can see here the stick doesn't move at all until you can see all these keyframes. Boop, 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 right? All these little dots that are right here, these are within the transform tool. So if I bring this down into here, yeah, every time I move my thing just a little too fast, it wants to crunch this down. Sorry about that, guys. But if I now kind of zoom in here, we look at each one of these keyframes, you can see that they're all on the position frame. So I'm basically just shifting the position every frame, and I'm not going one by one by one by one. What I'm actually doing is I'm going to the start of the clip, and then I'm going to the end of the clip, and then every middle section, I'm adding a new keyframe, lining it back up with small little details, little artifacts, or not artifacts, but little landmarks here. And the landmark that I used for lining up this stick was actually this little nub here, because that's not part of the stick. It's a part of like some mud that got stuck floating in the air in the video. So I just tracked that, and there you go. The stick now shifts with the walk. The end goal out of that was just to make it their continuity because of the angle of the shot. If you notice the shot, he throws the stick down, walks next to it, and if you imagine where the camera is to get this next shot, it's on the right side of him, right? Which means that stick is visible at that moment. So that's why I did all that work, was because I wanted to make sure that there was continuity there. The actual kicking of the mud, my partner looked at this and she was a little like, it's not that realistic. Like the mud kicks up in a bit of an odd way. And I'm like, I just like the personality of this shot. I don't really care if it's that accurate to how mud would flow in the water. I more just care the fact that he's being so kind of dismissive with his feet there. I like it. Okay. So that's that shot. I do feel like it's important for me to show you the kind of nitty gritty side of the video edits here, because this was my job. I mean, honestly, like with all my visual effects stuff that I did at Robot Chicken and all that stuff was almost all just nitpicking individual frames. The 360 that's here, this was mostly by accident, honestly. Like I got this result when I asked to spin around the character, but I just really liked the reveal of nothing out there except for this building, which I originally wanted to remove entirely, but it was just too much work. I just decided to like let it stay in there. It would have been better if there wasn't any buildings or structures there. So these little things I'll probably just re-render, like just make new versions of these clips here. But this is also a good example of where you can do hold frames to make the character speak at time to whatever dialogue or audio you have. That's why I'm not worried about it right now. I can just put the subtitles. As long as it speaks about the right amount that I need, I can retime this to however the acting is by the end of it. So I know that it's easy as me going, all right, let me, if I say a word longer than what's being shown here, I just do a hold frame with the mouth open there. And so it's just easier to retime it to the audio. Let's see, was there anything else in terms... I know that I did a couple time remappings here or there. So, like, for example, as he gets up here, let me scroll the way down for that. Okay. There we go. So, as he is walking here and getting up, there is... It looks like the clip is pretty much raw here, and then... Did I do any retiming here? Let's see. Yes, okay. So you see that I have the time remap function turned on for this layer here. And the only reason I did that was because I wanted this to feel a little faster because the speed of the explosions in the original version of this is very fast. They're like boom, 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 right? Like boom, 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 boom kind of effect here. But as soon as we cut to the next shot from the video extend, which I'm showing on with this glitch effect here, the explosions actually slow down significantly. And so what I did to fix that was I took my final extends here and then I just dragged the time remap so that it's a little faster. What this does is essentially, oops, you guys can't see that. There we go. And oops, let's get this pulled up this way and a little more. I just want to show you guys these clips here because this is important. Time remapping is how you can really hone in the shots to how you like. You can notice here that I have a keyframe for the beginning of the frame, and you notice that it's not here. Like I specifically am cutting a little later than the start of the clip. But the most important thing is that this each one of these keyframes represents a time on your video. So if I want this to be faster, I just drag this keyframe more to the left. That will essentially crunch all the frames that are here. If I extend this too far to the right, everything starts to move really slow. Okay, so like if I move this all the way over here, which is like insanely far. If I move it all the way over there, oops, let me just drag it over here. There we go. Let's just do that. You can see how much slower this clip is now. It's very framey. It's very hard to see. Like, and you could see how cutting to that faster speed as soon as we cut to the shot here. But if you do have a shot like this that feels a little too framey, what you can do is you can speed up the not speed up. Sorry, you can go into frame blending and then turn on pixel motion, which helps with some of the. It's also called ocular flow in different programs, but you can just turn that on. And you can see how much smoother that already looks just with doing that, because it's actually generating new frames for you in between the static frames. As long as you stretched your timeline to be longer than the original clip, it'll do this. It'll start adding frames that don't exist, and it's super, super, super handy. So, all right, cool. So we've talked about time remap. We've talked about masking. I don't really have too many other things to show off with this. This whole barrage of explosions is literally me ramping up the time, like boom, 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 right? That's just me ramping up the time speed here in order to make it more dramatic, and that's it. Yeah. So that's that sequence. I'm actually going to go ahead and not save that because I did a bunch of random tweaks that I do not remember how to undo right now. But I'm curious. Let's see. We have a couple people in chat. Let me see what was said here. As my After Effects freezes. Okay. There we go. It's gone now. It was tremendously entertaining and interesting, but I gotta go early. All right, Lolo. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for submitting your scene as well. Let's see here. We have CapCut. As far as I know, I'm still learning. Only lets me affect clip speed. I don't think I could pause a clip in the middle to hold till the next word is spoken. Yeah, that'll take some kind of masking of some sort. But you can do a hold frame, a freeze frame, and that might get you good enough. It's really more about saying, hey, do a freeze frame, but isolate only to this area, you know? Let's see, After Effects alert. Yeah, it crashed. Yeah, you try opening it, it crashes. Yeah. This is really cute though, Lolo. Thanks for hanging out, man. I use Canva. Yeah, a lot of folks have been relying on CapCut and Canva as of lately. I do heavily recommend getting into some of the more traditional programs because it lets you really take it up a notch. But I'm always really impressed what these things can do. Okay.
Yeah. You want a short break?
Yes, that would be great.
All right, then I'm gonna just quickly show how to do the same, like the outpainting of one frame to the past in DaVinci. How does that sound?
Oh yeah, no, that's amazing. That would give my throat a chance to take a break too. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. How do we do this the most intelligent way? I guess I'm just gonna also just screen share. Oh, let me share my screen.
No normal person needs 4K cinema specific effects. Oh, come on. Every person needs 4K cinema specific effects. Everybody needs it. I love dumping a bunch of like industry stuff on you guys and just being like, I'm sorry that maybe 1% of the audience is actually using this, but I really wanted to show you just how deep you can get into it. I feel like for a lot of people, they are, you know, as much as they're learning from the different terminologies and stuff we're applying here, it's not always something that I expect you guys to like follow along with, but we do have specialized like classes that we have done on request. So if you do want, say like you do want to do a follow along After Effects intermediate or expert class kind of stuff, we've done it on our Gnarly Studio server by request. So it might be a 20-minute session. It might be 3 hours of me rambling. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. You might want to put me on your screen for your recording.
Let's see here. I do have you on this, but let's see here.
Like my screen, my screen share.
Yeah. Just a second here. It's going to take me a second to set up. I have to pop this out. Okay.
Technical things.
Technical things.
The problems when you're streaming and you want to upload things to YouTube, and also I could also basically just take over your screen.
I would rather you do that,
That'll
honestly,
also
because
work.
I'm not seeing the pop-up button here. Right at the
Yeah.
moment.
Then let me do that. Then let me just.
That'll be easy. Yeah, nice transition. There you go.
Switch
Bam.
this.
Giant
Oh,
kinky.
with giant kinky.
Giant kinky.
Let's remove.
It feels, you know, like in Smash Brothers. when you play,
Hello,
like,
everybody.
Oh, wait.
You know.
No,
like
do it
when-
again.
Yeah, do it again.
Hello, small children.
It's Titan kinky. I also just laugh at that too because like, you know, like you're playing Smash Brothers or whatever, they do like the story mode or the challenge mode, and then they always have like giant character or whatever, and I'm just imagining kinky. This is the giant kinky stage. It's great. We do want the Kong mode. Yeah.
All right, let's show you guys for a second how to do this in DaVinci Resolve, which is a free tool and a very professional tool. So this isn't difficult by any means, and I guess everybody can do it. What we're going to do is we outpaint these strokes here. And it's important to notice this only really works if you have like these sections that move that you want to outpaint on a different position every single frame. So if it stays longer, you might have to do this multiple times with multiple clips, but the basis is always the same, and it's pretty easy and pretty fast to do this. I'm just gonna go and create a new timeline here to start fresh. And place the original footage in here. And this is what we're having. And I want to outpaint now this stroke that flies in from the left to the right here. So what I need for this is, of course, another layer on top of this footage that is giving me the reference information that that I need. So I need another clip that is basically offset by one frame. So what I'm going to do is I create another timeline and I call it offset -1. And I place the original footage in here and I just cut away the first frame, which is just dragging this over here and moving it back to the start. Going back to timeline 3, which is our base. We have the original in here and I drag the offset on top. Just on top here. And now nothing much changes so far because we haven't defined an area yet where the top is overlaying the bottom. And we can do this easily down here in, what is it called? I never know. In Fusion. In Fusion. So I go into offset -1 here in Fusion, and then we have the node editor for Fusion, and we need to add a node that is basically us painting what from this we want to keep, right? No, it's the other way around. Sorry, I mixed things up. We want to have the original on top, and we want to have the offset on the bottom, and we want to delete something from the top footage and show the footage that is below. So, and now I'm going to go into the original and into the Fusion tab, and I'm just going to add nodes. I'm pressing Control Space here to open up the select tool, and what we want to add is a mask paint. And we can just put this on top of here, and suddenly everything disappears. Which is fine because we have not painted anything yet. So I'm just gonna invert. I'm gonna go on the mask here. I'm going on mask and I'm saying invert. And now I can just overpaint this piece by piece. So I'm going through the timeline here, looking for my piece to appear. And I'm just removing this. Oop. Oop. Just painting this out. Oop. Let's see. And the importance here with this tool is that you have a stroke duration here. So you can tell DaVinci how long in the footage the stroke you make lasts. So this is set to 1 frame. So every single frame, all the strokes are deleted. If I up this and say like, I don't know, I want 5 frame stroke duration, what would happen is if I paint this in here with 5 frames, it would persist also into the next frame and the next and the next and the next, and then suddenly it's going away. Of course, this is too fast for us right now, so we don't want that. We just want this to stay on 1. And I'll paint this again. And if we go back, we now see that all the things that we have painted are gone.
I'm curious.
It's a bit wobbly in here.
Is there a feather in the brush that you're using?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just curious if where that function is. Is it something that you can modulate, or is it something that is static?
Yes. Now here's a soft edge setting that I can set.
Okay.
For this.
After it's drawn. Nice.
Yeah.
Because I applied a feather of 2 pixels on every mask that I did, just so that there's a little bit of blur in between. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here.
I
is the
can
feather.
just zoom in here, and there is a little bit of a soft edge, but I can even increase this, and then just go in here and make this a little bit bigger. Just
We
to
are
make
taking
sure
advantage
that
of this being on a grayscale too, by the way. It
yes,
makes it a lot
we
easier.
are. If there is a color shift in the zoom and stuff, then it's getting harder and harder to like do this. But
Or tons of
this
cameras,
in this instance, this works perfectly. Like I can just go in here and remove these strokes step by step.
Yeah,
And
using it
that's
as a brush
basically-
function is really neat. I prefer box masking and stuff just because it lets me get that like fidelity of like where in the frame I want. But this is faster. This is certainly faster.
Yeah. This is one thing that we can do here. We can, of course, we can also just like add another mask, and say if I just right click in here, let's have a look at add tools and go to masks. There is a few mask options that we have. For example, the polygon, which I can also just apply. Oop. And then, of course, I need to go in here and invert it again. And then I go back to the first frame where I want to remove it, and I can just do my polygon around it, and boom, it's gone. And then I move it 1 frame, and I can just move all the points if I want to. Where's the thing? I'm just editing here. This is editing. I could just move the points, but there is also a function to just move all of them. I just don't Alt. It's holding down Alt. So I'm moving this over here now, and this is just
that's
moving
the main
the thing
benefit of the
frame by
masks is being
frame.
able to just shift them around as blocks and you know
Yeah.
as long as the thing you're editing doesn't change shape very much, this is technically a little faster, but the brush offers that fidelity that It essentially, when you're doing a rasterized alpha matte, that's the same thing inside of After Effects. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it works the same way. This one is even maybe a little bit cleaner because there is like a larger area, and with the brush it's hard to see sometimes what you didn't get. You only see that afterwards.
Right.
And that's the thing.
That's very cool.
That's
It's cool
how
to
you
see
do
it
it.
within a different program. Very cool.
Yeah. So there is no reason, if you think After Effects is too expensive, to think you cannot do these things, because DaVinci, even in its free form, I didn't buy it so far. Like, this is all the free version of DaVinci Resolve.
Impressive.
Comes with a lot of powerful tools where you can just work in and do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really see a reason for people to buy the Creative Cloud with all the new tools for Midjourney on top of all the free stuff. We do have a list of freeware that you guys are welcome to explore. They are the alternative to Adobe list that is on the Gnarly Studios server. You'll find that in the Knowledge Base channel. All right. Thank you so much for that, Raps. That was super cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Always happy. Like, I specifically learned DaVinci Resolve to show these things to everybody.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great transition talking about the knowledge base here, because we are going to talk about Gompasta's turnaround tutorial here, but you'll notice inside of the knowledge base we have a list of alternatives for every Adobe program, and it's actually just a GitHub link. So I'm going to paste that link for you guys inside of VC Text here. And that is it's by Kenny NL. And it's a very impressive list. It gives you everything that you need in order to be like, oh, I want to do 3D modeling. Okay, here's all your alternatives for, Adobe Dimension. Or
Your alternative is called Blender.
Yeah, there you go. There's so many out there, though, that are for specific things. So if you're looking for a particular program, that'll help you out a lot. But now we're going to get to the second half of the video or the stream here today, which is going to be talking about Gompasta's video turnaround workflow. This is impressive as hell, by the way, like crazy impressive. What I'm going to do is actually link to the actual tutorial here. So I'll paste it, but if you're not joined at the server, you might get a, hey, you have to actually join the Gnarly Studio server. If so, just click this go to server or join button that's right here. But this is the video tutorial for making turnarounds, and here's what the reference image that was given that is used for the turnaround, and then basically we apply a low motion after you have a nice clean single front-facing image of a character, and then use the prompt 3D model turnaround with a very loose description of the characteristics of this character. And this is actually the result that you get out of it. Wicked impressive for getting really great continuity, because it's basically hallucinating what a 3D model of this character would look like. And with it being in a nice pose where every limb is clearly identified and stuff, this is so much better than re-rolling randomized turnaround sheets. So we're going to explore doing that with one of Ural's characters here today. And I want to see Ural's results inside of VC text here. So post your 3D turnarounds that you've made here.
I'm going to spoil people for a second, because showing how impressive this is, I used Ryo, who is a notoriously difficult character to get correct from different perspectives. But the aspect of using a 3D model turnaround gives it that stability. I can basically just go through this. I just posted it in VC text and pick any frame. It's super consistent. It even copied the form of the individual feathers onto the backside, which is
insane,
just super crazy.
Yeah, it's just incredible, actually. I mean, this would be the kind of stuff that if we were to map it onto a 3D model now, it would be perfect. Like just absurd.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of them from other folks here, but just to kind of show you, there was Fungi Mancer jumped in and did some let's see, maintained character accuracy since owning the characters, driving the pose. And this improves the prompt control significantly. Look at that. Like, that's just awesome that you can get these, like, going from the starting pose to whatever action pose, whatever, scene that you're trying to do. You can get your reference images, your image prompts with this alone. So like there's the kind of like kick forward sort of punch here, and look at that. There it is as an image prompt used, Omni reference. I believe this is using it as an Omni reference, and then boom, you just shove it in the scene with the style reference and call it a day. It's just wicked. So I did one for my fantasy character Vic, and I was super impressed with this turnaround. Not only does and actually I'll link it here inside of copy video address, and then I'll post it the VC text for you guys. What this let me do was to then export individual frames to become the complete character sheet. So if I needed over the shoulder of this character, I just take from the sheet now. This completed sheet lets me be able to just quickly image prompt different angles of this character. So I'll also include that for you guys here. And essentially that cuts down a significant amount of the work to get this to get a completed turnaround of a character, so that I know what my continuity is. Every artist uses character sheets, even ones that they draw every day. They will have little references around their desk that shows them the characters at different angles, because it's time consuming to constantly guess at your own characters. So let's go ahead and grab a character from the character portal. We're just going to do one willy-nilly. We'll find one. And you guys are more than welcome to post inside of VC Text a character for us to spin around for you. If you don't want to spend the credits on it, or if you don't want to spend the fast hours or anything like that, post your character here, preferably on a white background. And we'll give it a good spin. Yes, this is a good horizontal spinning rat. Was this the inspiration goal? because this is great. It's reminding me of the low res shrimp animations that I've been seeing online, so that's great. It wasn't, but for some reason Vic reminded me of that GIF. Well, I mean, it is true that I have referred to like Rat Punk in my prompts back in version 4. I don't really do that anymore, but Rat Punk was definitely one that I used for a while. Let's see here. So much weird strip stuff online lately. There has been, yeah. YouTube is full of it. And random AI videos. But let's see here. I want to pick someone that we haven't done a turnaround for yet. So, aha! Let's do Mira. Mira's a cute one. So, let's grab this one here. This is a pretty image. This is going to be a very easy image frame to work with here because she has no arms pointed down here, so like it's just going to be a pretty much a cone shape here. But we're going to click on copy image address on this picture here, and now inside of Midjourney I am going to paste that image, and you'll see that it first shows up as an image prompt. Let's go ahead and just drag that over to video. Okay. And the thing is that we probably want to give a little more room around the character, but this feels like the widest moment the character is going to be anyway, so this will probably work fine. So let's just give it a go. I'm going to say that this is just to follow along with the tutorial here. Let me grab that one more time here. Knowledge base using video. There we go. So we have in the prompt suggestion is 3D model. Okay, manual and then low motion. So let's go ahead and set that first. We're going to go to motion low. And then we are going to write the prompt, which is, yes, 3D model turnaround. 3D model turnaround. And then I'm going to give a real simple description of this character here. Real simple. Let's just say that she is a pink-haired girl with a cloak. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about separating with a comma or anything like that. I'm just going to run this as this is. And we'll see how this comes out. There's so many nuclear explosions. And also me spot welding. But let's go ahead and let this render for a minute here. And I am rendering in turbo mode, so it's going to be a little faster than it would be normally. But this at least lets us get through these demonstrations pretty quick. So if we need to, we will add more negative space around the character in order to give more room for the turnaround, because we definitely want to make sure nothing's cut off or anything like that. I don't want to have to like in-paint individual poses or anything like that. So we can see as it's rendering here, it starts to, shift the direction of the character here. And I feel like the third one's going to be pretty good. But you can see the diversity of the results you get based on what it's hallucinating, right? Look, the hood is her hair is in the hood with the first one. It's popping out of the third one. She has very long hair with the second one here, which seems like it's a little lagged behind from the others. And the fourth one's completely lagged behind. So there might be some re-rolling that we need to do to get a smooth turnaround, but we don't really need the smooth turnaround. We only really need each individual angle of the character to come out right. So I'm going to be avoiding things like the shoulders are twisting as she turns around it, because it's like sometimes like especially like I don't know if you've ever tried to photograph a child before and tell them to like look away from the camera or move around. They always kind of like want to like turn their face towards the camera even if they're spinning and stuff. Like it's that's the kind of effect that we want to avoid. But let's take a look at these 4 results here of what we got. And you can see a little bit of that effect with the third one, where her head is actually kind of turning with the camera, or sorry, turning with her, as opposed to getting this kind of smooth turnaround here. So why don't we try this? We will hit use in order to repeat this prompt, but I'm going to add an additional parameter here, and that is --raw. And that is going to more likely keep the text literal inside of here. There's no embellishment of the prompt in order to make a more dynamic or interesting video. So I'll use raw when I find a bunch of like weird behaviors that I didn't originally write inside of my video. So we'll see how this one comes out first, as well as see what you guys are saying. Ooh, there's already some turnarounds here. I'm liking some of these. Ooh. You know, like the Rhapsody's one that's right here, actually, where she's stepping as she turns around. That is really interesting, but it may cause issues for your referencing later. I really don't. It's going to be very character specific.
Yeah, but this is something that happens sometimes.
It's a very.
And then you maybe have to add the keyword static, static character or something.
I do find it interesting that she has technically 2 different kinds of lacy, like a lacy thong in the front, where it's like, look at the outfit, it's kind of like a torn spider web on the right, but then it's what do you call that? Almost like step ladder on the left. It's just it's interesting how as soon as something disappears, it has to hallucinate it again. So there's going to be subtle differences that you might need to fix manually later. But let's take a look at this turnaround now. Yeah, okay. So you can see that there is a subtle zoom that's here. And we probably just want to add some negative space, because what I'm noticing here is that it's kind of trying to make the video a little more interesting, just even with this loose description here. And I feel like if I just add a little more negative space around the character, it'll be a little more staticky or 3D model spin. So let's do that really quick, just so you guys know what that's like. First thing we're going to do is we're going to copy the image here. Use any image manipulator you like. I use Photoshop, but obviously even MS Paint's going to work for this. It's very simple. But for that, it's very, very straightforward. You're just going to go to the cropping tool, and you're just going to expand this out. You could also just expand the canvas if you want to be a little more accurate or literal with this. But what I'm going to do is, and we could do this inside of Midjourney easily as well, but it's right here. So I'm just going to do it quickly here. With Midjourney, we could actually come into here and say, all right, these are the bottom of shoes. Fill in the bottom of the shoes here. But for the sake of getting a video done quickly, we can actually just crop that out, and it should be fine. Now, the thing is that if you do crop out any element of the character, it wants to kind of reveal it later. It wants to have some sort of like maybe it'll highlight the bottom of her feet for a moment or anything like that. Like she might pick up a foot in order to put this more in the frame later. It's just a behavior I've noticed with Midjourney video. But I'll go ahead and now grab this, and we will open up, get rid of this. There we go. We'll open up Midjourney again. We're going to paste this image into there, get rid of our starting frame from before, and replace it with this one. And we will redo this prompt, but this time, let's just say that we'll just go with the same prompt. 3D model turnaround should work fine. But the adding of negative space, I feel like, does help for constraining it to a specific intent. Because like right now, it feels like I need to make this vertical video interesting. While the more square the video is, the more negative space that's around it, the more like it feels like what a 3D model turnaround GIF would look like. So I tend to run into this issue a lot whenever I am prompting at a specific aspect ratio. So like if I want to watch an animated film or movie or something like that, if I prompted 16:9, I am more likely going to get a result that looks like it's part of a movie. But if I say, hey, this is an animated film, but it's a vertical video or it's a square video, the composition's like, it's harder for it to interpret what an animated film would look like with that. It's like, for example, if you do VHS effect as a prompt, okay, and the video is 4:3, it's great. It's a really fun prompt to mess with. But if your video is like an ultra wide, like 21:9 aspect ratio, and you say, "Hey, give me a VHS effect on here," all those effects that you're familiar with look stretched because it doesn't make sense within that aspect ratio. So applying that logic to everything is how you're able to take this to another level, because aspect ratio really dictates so much of the composition without forcing it through image prompts and other ways to do that. So let's take a look at the turnaround with some negative space around her, and it's perfect. It's just perfect. Add a little bit of that negative space and mwah, chef's kiss. Like it's great. So look at that. That's awesome. That's just the
Even
first result.
blinks there.
Yeah, she even blinks. It's great. Let's take a look at the second one. She's got some real big hair there, big braids. And maybe you want that. Maybe that was a really fun reveal for you, right? But for the most part, I try to look for the videos that are the most consistent spinning around, especially when we go between profile to front face or to 3/4. Like right here, look, her face looks concave in this result. Like it looks like someone hit her with a bat in the face for the shape of it. It looks wrong. So now if I go to the first video and we look at her profile, she has a really nice, clean, rounded shape here. There is no weird indention on her forehead. And that's the kind of stuff we're going to be looking for. This sort of framey result is not the end of the world, right? Because you're going to end up isolating these anyway. But the first image, the first result of this run here is great. I just love this. I love this result. And I'll be checking out all of your submissions here in just a moment. But I do want to show you how to make the sheets first, and then we'll dig through everyone's turnarounds. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit copy video URL. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Just download the raw video. Just download it. Give it a download. And then we are going to open it up in Chrome. Okay, so if you're using the Midjourney website, you're going to already be familiar with working with Chrome anyway. But you just say open up in Chrome and then find the frames that you want for every angle. Okay, so we first start with the face front here. So let me open up Photoshop. Gonna minimize this. Okay, so I have Photoshop open here. Let's go ahead and first expand the canvas out. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to find the next pose that I need inside of this video frame. So let's do a 2/3, something like this, okay? And then I'm gonna right click on the video. I know you guys can't see my my menu here, but if you right click inside of a Chrome on video, there's actually a button here that says copy video frame. We're gonna click that button, go over to Photoshop, and then paste. And now we have that angle, okay? Let's now go to the next frame, the next pose. That's the profile shot here, okay? Right click, copy video frame, and then paste that into Photoshop again and again and again. Let's now get the back of her, okay? Right click, copy video frame, and then paste. This to me is the minimum of what you need, but having the video accessible to you at all times is really, really good. If you are, say, you need her to be at a very specific angle, then you can literally line it up with the video or like the image result you have, and then use that as an omnireference in order to get that exact angle. So like if we needed her at this exact direction, right? Now I have it. I can just copy video frame and then paste that into Midjourney. Like for example, like if we now take our Midjourney open here, take that, and I paste this into here. I use it as an omnireference, and then I say that there is a giant monster has appeared behind her all of a sudden. That's my prompt. Let's set an aspect ratio of 16:9 just to make it a little more cinematic. And then I'm going to say that this is an animated fantasy film depicting a giant monster.
And the same works if you want to like pose her and in-paint her in layers in the editor. You can just post the image in here and then just grab the link from the upload and use it as a layer in the editor.
Right. You don't even
and
need to
getting
make the
even.
sheet.
Yeah, and that's how you get the character usually in a consistent environment. Then.
Right. And so I'm just going to set this as a style reference of one of the panels that I have for the fantasy series here, and I'm just going to submit that. So this stupid folder thing's up there. Let me refresh this really quick. Okay. So you can see I have set this panel from the comic as the style reference, and I have set her in this pose as the Omni reference. If we want to lock down this pose even more, we could use it as an image prompt, but she will be in the center, more likely in the center of the screen if I do that. So let's just see how this comes out. You can see that the field of grass, the sort of like mixed media effect that we have for the grasslands in this reference featuring Gnome, is getting recreated inside of this because we have it set as a style reference. Okay, so now that this result is done, it says an animated fantasy film depicting a giant monster has appeared behind her all of a sudden. All of a sudden is making her more spooked, right? And it's, in terms of the angle, this is probably the most accurate out of these results here. If I really want to lock this down, I could drag this over holding shift to the image prompts as well, but understand that that's also going to respect the negative space around her too. So it's more likely going to be just the monster, maybe some grass and her with this result, but I'll show you guys what that looks like here. Oh, that's right. I need to copy the exact prompt. There you go. I also use pretty high numbers for omni weights when it comes to characters. I tend to stick around 200 or so. Going lower will add a lot more creativity to the framing and to the character. But I'm a stickler for continuity, so I tend to stick to anywhere between 150 to 350, somewhere in there. But let's see how accurate of my statement is true here, which is it's going to, one, look at the negative space around the character and try to preserve that negative space, and two, it's going to mostly have the ground, and the monster will still be there, but she'll be a lot more in pose, but also a lot more in center. All of that is true. like we're almost done here already, and she is in the center of nearly all of these frames, so on and so forth. This is all cool. Like, you can see the level of control we have now. She's in the same pose on all of these. Okay, so now let's say I wanted to recreate this sort of effect, right, where she is in, like, smaller in the frame. We can do that with image prompts. Okay, so I'll do that very, very quick because I do think this is important. If I now copy this into Photoshop here, and we drag, just a second. There we go. If I now paste this image into here and I add the necessary amount of negative space to capture her in that space, okay? So, like, I'll drag this to about here. We'll make this a little wider, so it's more like 16:9. If I need to, I can just come up to ratio up here and write 16:9. That will lock the canvas like it is in Midjourney to 16:9. But now I'm just going to hit enter on this. Let's shrink her down just a little bit. Okay. And then I'll add the remaining negative space around here. If you use an alpha channel, it's not as reliable as you would think. You're probably going to want to just in-paint new white, or like where the white is anyway. So now you can see here, in terms of what I accomplished here, is I basically I've set the blocking for the shot. Okay, this is her pose, her angle, all that stuff. But now if I minimize this, boop. Oh, this is the wrong one to minimize. There we go. Okay, now let's do the exact same prompt we had before, but we're going to swap out that image prompt with this new one that I made, where she is much smaller in the frame and is more to the left side. We're basically establishing the blocking of our shot while allowing for a lot of creativity on Midjourney's side to kind of fill in these gaps of knowledge. So let's see how well this does right off the bat, and then we can use parameters to kind of hone it in to something specific. Particularly with how much negative space takes over on the image. We can lower the image weight to let there be less influence from the white, but for the most part, I want to composite things. I want to build things. I want to make the shots. I don't want to have everything done all at once because it gives me the fidelity and control that I need to kind of make these compositions more interesting for me. Because by default, Midjourney tends to want to evenly balance everything in the image because it's going for this kind of like objective idea of beauty. And now if we look at these results with our image prompts, she is much smaller in the frame. She's much closer to the left side of frame. This is basically spot on from the angle or like the position within the image prompt. But we are still getting some variation, some changes happening here. So if I were to say add a image weight to this and set it to be higher than normal, like something really high, like 2.5, the max amount is 3. She will, it'll be a largely white background. She will most likely be on the left or right side of frame. And we may get some convolution or just not convolution. That's not the right word. We might just get some, redundancy of this image where it just doesn't feel like it did anything from the prompt because the image weight is now taking over for the sheer amount. Like, you know, what we wrote doesn't matter as much if the image weight is this high. But you could see it's certainly accomplishing making a high-res version of that angle of her, okay? This is how you can go in and say, all right, I want to increase the resolution of this image effectively. It's not going to be the same image, okay? But it is going to be a nicer, cleaner, more fidelity applied to the image here. So let's go the other way, and then I'll close that up here. Let's, instead of 2.5, let's do 0.3. The default, I believe, is 1 or 1.5. I forgot now. But going anything below 1 is kind of how you fine tune this, in my opinion, because you start to get the background back. You start to control where the character is and some variety of the character while allowing Midjourney to have a lot of creative freedom to fix things up, to patch in the holes, to, you know, do that kind of stuff. I rarely use an image weight higher than 0.5 for this reason. I really want to have a, you know, like interaction between characters, between scenes, all that kind of stuff. So now look what's happening. There's almost no negative space represented at all, but she is on the left side of frame on 3 out of 4 of these results. And on the other result, she's at the right angle. It's just mirrored. And that's a common thing that we see here. Now, you'll notice that a lot of the characters are symmetrical so that we can easily mirror them left to right. I know artists that are using AI that specifically make their characters asymmetrical in order to kind of feel like they have some control or ownership of that character. It's harder to replicate that stuff with AI. So for Michael, for example, he has this bibrow cut in his eyebrow. That's my signature. That's how I go in and say, if you can, you know it's mine because I drew that little bibrow in there. But if he, but with omni-referencing, it's able to recreate the bibrow fine. It's as this technology gets better and better and better, there's not really going to be any surefire way to say I'm the only person who can make this. That's a bit silly to have that expectation moving forward. That doesn't mean you don't own it in some way. It just means that every image on the internet will be subject to replication like this moving forward. But if we notice here, that's great. Like in terms of these results here, it's taking a second to load. In terms of these results here, we are getting some really fun, but also a lot of creative liberty applied to the character now. This is my favorite out of these. It's just really fun, and she's really well represented here. That's exactly the character design with a backpack added, so that's really cool. Yeah. All right. So that I went through image prompting. I went through the character turnarounds with GoMPasta sheets. Let's take a look at your all's turnarounds, and then I'll close things up here. Because I got a metal show to go to tonight. At 7 o'clock, I am going to a metal show, but we do have the show after the show as well that you guys can hop into and join the voice chat for. We'll get into that here in a minute, but it is a fun way to collaborate.
It is, and we don't want you to be held up from welding metal together.
Yeah, that was a funny little miscommunication there, or misunderstanding, I guess. But it was funny on our server. I was like, I'm going to a metal show, and then like at least 2 people were like, "You mean like for like welding or what?" I'm like, "No, No, I mean like guys wearing all black yelling at each other. Making a bunch of noise inside of a tiny room. Yeah, there you go. I haven't been to a house show in like 14 no 13 years, something like that. And this is technically not a house, but it's a kombucha shop, which is like the same size. So
You have a metal show in a kombucha shop.
Yep, it's gonna be rad.
It's like worlds crashing together.
It's not only that, it's a kombucha shop that's open till midnight. So like it's a pretty rad spot to hang out in, actually. Yeah, it's hard. They sell some hard bucha, man. But let's take a look at some of these turnarounds. So we got some from Rhapsody here. Is this with the alien builder?
Yes, it's our alien mood board.
That's awesome. I love that mood board so much. It was such a fun way to make things where we were like, let's negative prompt every aspect of an animal that we can think of, in order to get farther and farther away from something that's real. And this is great. That's awesome. And it really does work super well for like everything. Like it's just absurd. Like this is like a almost Dr. Seuss character. There's a little bit of twist in the head, like it's trying to animate the head of the bird a little bit, just for a moment there. But for the sake of making a turnaround sheet, that doesn't matter. That's awesome. Okay. This was from
Oksu, do you want us to run this?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I can easily just, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, go ahead and run that for KSU. And so let's take a look at Fungi Mancers here.
I started to run it, but then
Oh, that's
I realized
what you meant.
no, it's fine. Please do. I copied and pasted the wrong thing.
Okay.
There's some anatomical weirdness at the very beginning of the wave, or the wings fluttering here. Can I pause this? No, it's okay. Like, it's literally just because it almost looks like it becomes one giant wing at the beginning here, and it's the tail feathers in the back here that I think are floating or intersecting a little bit with it. So this would be an example of one where it's like, it's impressive for like the first couple seconds for me, like looking at it, and then I'm like, oh, I want to rerun that. I want to see how much farther I can go with that. Ooh, wait a minute. Look at the translucencies of the ears here. That is nuts. Yeah. Okay. I am forever impressed by reflections and translucency, opacity, any of that kind of stuff inside of any AI is it does it so good. It does it so good because it's able to, envision and calculate things like how our brain does, like how it comes to like imagining what's around the corner that we don't see. Okay, like if, for example, if I hear a noise and there's an alleyway in front of me, my imagination's going nuts. It's thinking like, okay, there's anything from a robber to a bear to whatever in that alleyway. I have no idea, and these videos, like this hallucination that's happening here, is very much doing the same thing. It's just way more refined in terms of like accuracy to what you're writing. So you're basically imagining that, and it's just nuts. I love that. That's great. Oh, Senior Carlos, yes. Are they carrying a bag of Funyuns? It looks like it. It looks like Funyuns. That I love that you can tell it's a translucent bag. That's awesome. She doesn't really seem like she's holding it though. It seems like it's more like almost like she has like a spider, like Spidey, like ability. Like she's making like a holding the Funyuns with like a netted coming out of her wrist as opposed to holding the bag. So I would have done a small
My
inking.
My superpower is shooting out plastic bags from my right wrist.
The environment loves me. That's I have the most useless superpower. I can spawn plastic bags in my hands whenever I need. But no, this is great though. I do like the details that have been added here. It's just those initial frames are so important to nail. Okay, 3D pixel art. This is new. It's interesting. It almost feels like how they have to kind of like fudge stuff when they're doing 3D and pixel art too. Like where it's just kind of feels like some of it's shifting but also spinning. Like in order to lock the pixels. Now the thing is that if you actually gave this to a pixel artist, they're going to look at this and go, you know that it's not real pixel art though, right? Like in the sense that each block here is not being represented as a dot in like a grid. It is just shaped like pixels.
It's a 3D model that has a pixel art texture on it.
Or
But
just
the
a
last
rendering
one,
pass,
Yeah. The third one is pretty perfect though.
It looks a lot like it. It looks a lot like it in terms of you can see the clicking of the leg, of the vertical leg lines here. That's a way more accurate to how it would look. But you notice it in the eyes. The eyes tell me that it's AI video because she's looking at the camera as it spins, and it wouldn't move like that with real pixel art. But it's really cool. That's still really cool though. I mean, I'm sure you could run it
still
through
more
a
than
filter.
enough to. Yeah, or just it's still more than enough to just export assets, because usually you would only have the front view as the front view, and then you would have a 2/3 and a side view and a 2/3 again and a back view.
I'm not
So it's more than
criticizing it
enough.
at all. This is amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
But there are ways to be able to say, hey, okay, I'm going to take this image and then I'm going to run it through an actual pixel art program to lock in where those pixels are so that it that it is true. But that this is you don't need anything else but this. This is awesome. I love this. Good job, Gom. We saw that one earlier. All right.
Yeah, I added that's a second one when I added like a static model.
Oh, okay, yeah, static model, right? So she's not shifting as much,
Yeah.
but she does spin the other direction halfway through.
Yeah,
did,
that happens sometimes.
did anyone run Miss Nameless here? Because this is the backside of her. I can see why this is not working for you.
Wait a second. I'm gonna run this.
Okay, yeah, because I can understand why this one doesn't work for the same reason that Victor's face kept changing inside of my little like video that I did for the scenes this week. Every time the character turns around is going to have a different shape unless the starting image is the reference, like is the best reference you have. This would be like the worst reference to have in terms of like the angle and trying to maintain some sort of continuity. Not to mention, I don't know what's going on with her feet, man. Like what is this chunk that's down here? When you can't describe certain shapes inside of your AI imagery, the video is going to be way worse in terms of understanding what it is. If you have trouble understanding it, then the AI video is also going to have trouble understanding it. So it might accidentally make a fun little rock or something for her to stand behind, but it's still I would just in paint feet. This is awesome. Let's see. Does you no, it's Fun Guy Mancer. Yes, the other pair of eyes in the back are lore accurate. Totally not AI hallucinations. This would be an example of where. Look at this. All right, this is a really fun thing. While Raps is running that nameless clip here, I'm going to actually copy frame. Let's go ahead and say show all controls. And then I'm going to grab the frame from the back. So we're assuming that this is like the back of the don't full screen. We're gonna grab what we say is the back of the character here. So let's see, spin, spin, spin. All right, this is supposed to be the back of the character. I'll now right click, hit copy frame. Let's do this in the Midjourney editor while we got this here. I'm gonna hit edit. I'm going to wait, can I just paste it into here? Yes. I'll paste it into here to get the URL. Right click, copy image URL, edit from URL, grab this, and now I'm just going to do just get rid of these eyes, and we will do something called a void prompt in order to try to guide this result here. So I'm going to do quote quote and write nothing else. And just hit enter on that. I don't know if we've officially come up with a name for this. I know that I see it pop up whenever we do videos that are rendered with no prompts. It'll show the quote quote or empty quotes here. But look at that. It basically just patches it with image interrogation alone, and that is awesome. I do this in Photoshop all the time. Whenever I just want to clean up like a bad wrinkle in a shirt or whatever, I'll use an empty prompt or no prompt in Paint in order to do this kind of stuff, where it's just looking for patterns and trying to replicate those patterns within the image you've given it. We give no context. And then, boom, we just hit upscale to gallery, and now we have a version of that image that has no eyes on the back. So we have a reference point for this character that's accurate. That's how easy it is to make character sheets now. It's just absurd. And huge thanks to Gompasta for putting that all together for us inside of a neat little post that we can just dig into at any time and explore all the different expressions and stuff we can do now, thanks to having these turnarounds just right there, so readily available to us. Fungi Mancer, this is awesome. That's Rock Golem. The detail in the plants in between the rocks blows my mind. Like just getting that sense of like every crevice of the rock is filled with some sort of growing plant. Wow, this is awesome, and I definitely want to see this in the fantasy series for sure. And we're back up to the spinning rat. So if you got anything, I'll let the spinning rat go.
It's
but...
down.
Okay.
It's down below at the bottom is the results of backside nameless.
Okay. So let's see.
And she becomes different types of animals.
Right. So the first one here, she has her eyes are like hollowed out. It almost looks like a mask that she's wearing.
Yeah.
In this one here, it's a little more moody, I guess. So like the yellow eyes make me always think of I'll move on. This is cute though. This is cute, but it only really works at like one or two angles on this. I'm not a big fan of this result. It's a little too cute. Kinky. This looks like one of the puppet models, or like maybe a doll.
I made this like in version 5 point. I don't know. It was before version 6, but I had it in my references. I was like, I'm gonna animate her. She's already in a T pose.
Yeah, that's great, and I like the Suicide Girls tattoo sleeves. That's the first thing I think of whenever I see what is it? Just tatted up arms, and everything else is pretty much just like a pretty feminine clothing. I always think Suicide Girls.
That's what I got.
That's awesome. All right, let's see. Okay, we got the bag of shrimp. It's a bag of shrimp. Thank you. That's a great way to end this stream. Is on to Rhapsody's complete frustration. To end on who wants to buy this bag of shrimp. And like I want to imagine a guy who's going who's at a ball game. Okay, you're expecting like get you bag of peanuts. I got your bag of peanuts, and then there's another guy that's like, I got a bag of shrimp. Who wants shrimp? And just and there's just a guy throwing shrimp at random people at a baseball game. Okay,
Shrimp, get your shrimp here.
You got your fresh shrimp, raw shrimp, just raw shrimp. Yes, and then Rhapsody's throwing her drink at him. Yes, perfect. This is it. This is gonna happen now. Okay, this is awesome turnaround there, Enid. Thank you for contributing that. That's awesome. I could see that there's a little bit of like funk when it comes to the back of the hair right here that I had to hallucinate. It almost looks like she's wearing like some sort of I don't know, like it almost looks like a bike helmet. At points, it could be just misunderstanding what the back of like how it's hallucinating that, but
there's also a circle of hair floating in the air.
Yes, right here. Yeah, that's circle. Yep. Yeah, and you'll notice that with like swords and stuff too. That swords will get all wibbly wobbly, and other kind of long defined things. Just make more negative space around your character. That helps so much to avoid any sort of weird twisting or artifacts. Okay. All right, so I'm going. Ancient, no, it's it's so much shrimp. Okay. This is going to be a great place for me to end it here. Feel free to join the Gnarly Studios server for the show after the show. It is a great way to hop on the stage and chat with me and me and Rhapsody. I just join the server. You'll see the voice channel for show after the show. Hop on there and ask your questions, or just hang out with us. Tell us about. I'm going to be playing RimWorld tomorrow, so everyone on the supporter list is going to be on my colony planet, and that will be interesting. Just because I have not the new update dropped. So if you want to watch me streaming, I'll be streaming on Twitch tomorrow. Yeah, it'll just be a deep dive with all you guys. So, but thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Thank you so much for Rhapsody, for co-hosting with me today. I always appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Always happy to be here.
And thank you, Kinky and Ancient, for making this all happen. Really appreciate you guys. Oh, I didn't even get to prompt battle. We'll save it for next time. Or do you want to do that now? It's up to you.
There's prompt battles. Go to prompt battles. It's tomorrow. It's basically every single day.
All good.
So look into the event calendar and go to prompt battles.
Yeah.
Let's do the show after the show.
Show after the show. Let's go.
And also,
yeah.
That's
prompt
it.
battles
Yeah.
gives you fast hours.
It's true.
It's a secret.
It does.
And skills and friends.
All right, guys. You all have a good night. Thank you so much for joining. This was a lot of fun. More scenes next week.